Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to do a watercolor of some grapefruit. I just painted this painting in oils and I posted a photo of it on my Instagram page if you want to see it. Just at Lindsay Weirich on Instagram, and I thought it'd be pretty in watercolor. So I'm going to start off sketching, and I'm using a watercolor pencil so I can go kind of dark so you can see it. Otherwise, I would probably use a color erase pencil or a regular graphite pencil and just do it a little bit lighter. So what I did was I snapped a photo of my grapefruit yesterday, and it's just so pretty in the sunlight. I thought it would make a really nice reference photo to paint. I want to apologize because there is somebody running a chainsaw outside. We had a pretty big windstorm last week, so people are doing cleanup in their yards, and so there are chainsaws being run outside. Now I'm going to draw this little knife in here. I thought it was kind of cool to see the knife and the plate, and the sun was so pretty, and so I thought, why not? It'll be a fun painting to do. And plus I'm trying to work for my own reference photos more because I kind of have a crutch of using reference photos from like Unsplash and stuff and not taking my own. Oh, let's switch over to this other pencil here to do the blade so I don't have to fight with, I don't want to fight with orange when I am painting this. When I did my sketch for my oil painting, I used a oil-based marker for the first time for an underpaint. That is my dog. She just woke up from a nap. Really, guys? We got a chainsaw going. We got a puppy just up from a nap. It's a big crapshoot today. I don't know if this tutorial will make it up on the air tonight or not, but hey, I'm gonna do my best. You know what I noticed? I noticed that this slice should actually be kind of tucked underneath. There we go. That should be tucked underneath there. Penny, you can come in here, you know. She was napping. I thought I would try to sneak in and get this tutorial filmed, but I left the door open because I didn't want her to, you know, not be able to find me. For some reason, she doesn't like coming into the office very much. Very odd beast. And I can see, we got this slice back here. Going like that. I love grapefruit. Unfortunately, I'm the only one in my family that likes grapefruit. Well, my daughters will eat it once in a while, but man, I just love it. I've always liked it. I just like that color, the bitter flavor, I think I like the way it looks more than anything. It's such a pretty, pretty fruit. Oh, love it. I'm going to draw my plate in here. Most of I tend to really enjoy drawing food, and that's something that you always have around, so that's what I've been taking photos of. My son brought home a cheesecake, a slice of cheesecake from the bakery the other day, so before he ate it, I'm like, can I get a picture of that? And he's like, what do you want a picture of this for? It's like, I want to paint it. He's like, whatever, Mom. I might not keep that whole, like, shape in there, but I just like to have something like that. This seems a little round. See, yeah, this has to be bigger because if these two slices are from this fruit, it's way too small. So if it was a color erase pencil, then I would just erase that center. I shouldn't have drawn that detail until I had more. So let's see, that's gonna be as wide as that, which it is now. Let's just get these semicircles in there a little bit better. White of the paper? What's white of the paper? I'm not going to have any white of the paper. We're going to be using that gel pen, friends. Oh my. Oh my. Hear the dog not whining. What's the word? Yawning in the doorway. Alright. Get that drawn in. Let's put let's just put some washes of color down. And then I can let it dry because I'm sure Miss Penny will want her mother, which is me, you know, because she's my puppy. Okay, I'm going to start just by, throwing some washes down. Let me get this plate let's get a tone on this. Because we will have some reflections of this, you know, the colors around, so let's just kind of tone it. The puppy was napping, so this is going to be quick by necessity because I'm going to need to put her out. She'll need to go outside, I'm sure. Maybe she won't. I'm always home with her, so I probably tend to take her out more than she needs to go out, but oh, you know, this is kind of liberating. It's liberating. It's like when the kids were little and I had to do any painting when they were napping. That's what this feels like. It's like that. I want to get a little background toning in there. Since we have orange, it'd be real pretty to have some nice gray made with ultramarine blue and orange. So that's Prussian. The paints I'm using here are there's a couple new sets from Paul Rubens that came out with this really cool palette. I like it because I have all this room that I can like just water down a color if I need a lot of it, because the palettes, the spaces are so big. Or there's a removable tray that comes out of the lid of the palette that you can mix in. I think Magello has a very similar palette that you can buy at craft stores, and but they don't have the wells like this. So, ooh, that makes kind of a purple. I'm gonna need to tone that down a bit. Oh my goodness. I'll be right there, pen. He says, who are you talking to, Mama? Is there a stranger in the house? Get some shadows in here while I'm at it. Oh, what the heck, we'll flick on some. We're just, you know, this is going to be loose, friends. Alright. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to let this dog out because I'm just worried about her health and well-being. Back in a minute. This is dry. It's been a while. My son got home from school, so he is with the dog, and I am going to carry on here. I am going to grab, I think I'm going to grab this kind of like a rosy red here. I would call this like a quinacridone rose. I don't know the proper names for all of these, or the names that Paul Rubens has given these paints, because often the names, they'll put the pigment numbers down on the list, but not the English names. Sometimes they do. I think there are English names, but I don't have that list in front of me. What I'm doing is just kind of watering down the paint in the palette, so I've got like a really kind of inky puddle. And I'm just going to go around and just add it to the different areas where I see the most kind of jewel-like pink colors in the grapefruit. And I am kind of exaggerating this because I just don't want it to be all one shade of orange. I want to be able to have a variety of different colors by the time I'm done. A variety of different kind of grapefruity colors. The orange pencil does stain. I did try to lift a little bit up, but and then my lifting brush actually had some like leftover ink in it or something from the last time I used it. It was one of my Inktober sketches, I think, and so it was actually staining the paper worse. So I was like, okay, we're not going to do that. We will just layer. Okay, now I'm going to grab some of that orange that, did I even, no, I never even got into the orange, did I? No, let's, instead of using that, let's use this more transparent, warmer yellow here. Can add some of that into the skin. I could put some of that over in the rind of that one over there. I spent quite a bit of time on my oil version of these grapefruit that I kind of felt like I just wanted to unwind and have kind of a looser. And I actually intended the oil painting to be kind of loose, but I haven't really loosened up with the oils yet because I'm still kind of like getting used to them. I used to paint in oils a lot, but I had to kind of get reused to them again because, you know, I occasionally will pick up oils, but not really, I don't know, just kind of play around with them, not really challenge myself too much. So I'm really trying to challenge myself with them, but just getting used to them has been a challenge in its own right. But I think that, you know, you really need to challenge yourself in whatever you do, either a hobby or a profession. I think you always have to challenge yourself or you get burnt out. And that is no fun. Lose your motivation. Oh, I like these colors. Orange and pink are a really, you know, happy combination. Ooh, look at those colors mixed together. That's a pretty color. This will probably be a mixed media piece. I like the looseness of it. Now I'm going to take those two colors and mix them on my palette here. Make kind of a flat orange. What was this rosy color that I used? Which is actually, they look like the colors I was using in my oil painting too, which is... Now that looks like a grapefruit color, doesn't it? I had used this plastic steak knife, plastic handled steak knife to cut my grapefruit, and I thought it looked kind of neat. So I photographed it. I think it's nice to work from your own photographs because even if you're not a great photographer, like I am not a great photographer, but it's because you have the experience of taking the photo, so I think it just gives you a little bit more information. It's almost easier to paint from your own photographs in that respect. Alright, I'm going to take the ultramarine blue because I've already used that. It granulates beautifully. I love the texture I have in that shadow. Probably because I just had to set it and forget it because the dog was waking up. And let me add a little bit of that rose color to it, make a purple. Because I do see kind of like purpley undertones in some of this fruit as well. Nice purpley shadows. I think it's easier to loosen up in a medium that you are really comfortable in because you know what you're going to get, kind of. You know, you're familiar with it, so you're not so worried about messing it up because you know you'll be able to rescue it. If you celebrate Christmas and you like to watercolor, I'll have a new class available in a few days doing hand-painted Christmas cards and tags, and it's going to be beginner-friendly for anybody that wants to paint, maybe wants to have like a paint with some friends, that sort of thing. It's projects that are designed to be fun and really doable. I'm going to just kind of soak up the puddles because I don't really want backwashing in my fruit area. I'm getting a little bit right there. I'm not too worried about it though. Okay, I'm going to grab a little bit of this yellow, add it into the plate where I've got some reflections. I do a little bit with the rose as well. And a little bit of the ultramarine blue. I don't want to go too crazy with the plate because I'm not sure. I've got it kind of at a weird angle there, so it might be keeping it less defined. It's probably going to look a little bit better. Now, I like the splashes that I have with the shadow color. I want to do some with the grapefruit color as well. Do some of the yellow on its own. See, it's really good for splashing, this palette, because I can make a nice puddle right there. I don't have to put it on a palette to make a big amount of color, and then it's, you know, it'll just dry right up and be part of the paint again, so I don't waste any. So I really like that about this palette here. I don't know if you can find that palette separately anywhere. The company Lightwish is the American distributor of the Paul Rubens paint, so I would check their Amazon store. If I don't get a chance to look for it and you're curious, I would check their store. Oh, I don't think I like that blue in the spattering. Maybe I'll just go and pick a little bit of that up. Then I can splash on some just plain water. I know this is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Oh well. That's what the skip button is for. If you don't like a project, then there are plenty of other things out there that you probably would like. Life's too short to watch stuff you don't like and then complain about it. Okay, and I think I'm going to let this dry and then build up from there. Okay, I think this is mostly dry. Some of the splashes might still be a little bit wet, but what I want to do is go back in with my pencil and try to just kind of reclaim a little bit. I don't want it to get, you know, I actually am liking this, which you may find to be very surprising, but I actually do. Probably the contrast of between this and the oil painting I did earlier. I am liking it, but honestly, it's one of those funny things. It's like, okay, I know I'm going to put this out into the world on YouTube for people to paint along with me, and it's like, oh, you know, so I'm always kind of worried. It's like, what if people think it's a hot mess and they don't want to do it? Which is fine, but I still, you know, it's so hard not to like think about that when you're creating something. Now this watercolor pencil, this is a Spectrum Noir watercolor pencil. It will just turn into paint when I add water to it. So I'm just kind of shading a little bit with this and drawing a little bit, because I know I can lay down color and then dilute it out. Like I can kind of get my values sketched in a little bit. I can see lines that have been dissolved. And I think I need to have another grapefruit today. That looks so good right now. And they're in season, or they're coming into season. I mean, these were good. This bag I just bought was good. I'm also surprised how expensive grapefruit are, because a lot of people don't even like them, you know, and you couldn't pay a lot of people to eat grapefruit, but you know, they were like $2 each if you were buying them individually, which I thought was a little high. There's a shadow there. That's what that's representing. I just wanted to kind of get that in with a value. I'll probably use something like a white paint pen or something to get the pith back, but I'm not going to worry about that too much right now. Okay, now I want to get that blade in, because that's going to be my darkest value, because the way the light's hitting it, it's only highlighting the ridge, the bevel of the serrated edges. So the blade itself is actually pretty dark. So I need to mix myself a dark. I'm going to do that with let's do that with a flat or an angle brush. I'll just use this one right here. All right, so we've already, you know, we don't really want purple. Let me add some of this in there and see if I can gray it down. Add some of that yellowy color in there. I mean, I could grab black, but at this point, I have all those vibrant colors. I really don't want to. Let me grab some of that and add that in and see what we get. I need a little more blue, because that's a little too orange. Oh, there we go. We're getting a nice, look at that. We're getting a nice gray. So, yeah, primary colors, pretty much. All right, so, oh, you know what? Did I use that one? I think I did use that one, actually. Excuse me while I'm concentrating. That was kind of one of the neat things about Inktober that I did last month, is that I would be doing all these sketches just, you know, on my own, not recording them. I only recorded a few. And so I wasn't talking, so I find that I can concentrate so much better when I'm not talking. Let's get the tip of that knife. And now I would kind of like to go and paint those little edges. More ultramarine there. Alright, so I'm just gonna just kind of wiggle my brush as I go and just get a little glint of highlight. Actually, be neat if maybe I won't do any pen on this, because I gotta tell you, I'm liking just that really splashy, loose indication of the highlights being the white of the paper. I kind of don't want to lose that, you know what I mean? All right, now might as well just keep this brush going, because I got it right in my hot little hands at the moment. I'm glad my kid came home after school, because I don't have to worry about Miss Puppy. And quite frankly, I think she'd rather play with the teenagers. It's good to keep them, you know, to get them out of their room once in a while. You got teenagers at home, guys? You know what I'm talking about? They like to lock themselves in their rooms. There, that's got some nice form to it now. I like that. While I'm at it, and the nice thing about a brush like this is actually just a Taklon, inexpensive Taklon brush. It's one of the Zen mixed media brushes by Royal and Langnickel. It's I really like, actually I like these a lot for gouache. They're good for acrylics too if you paint in acrylics. But because they don't hold a lot of water, whatever you paint is going to dry pretty quickly after you're done. And I don't have to worry about flooding an area, and I can push paint around a little bit if I want to. Oh, you know what, I'm not sure if I used that. Yes, I think I did, because I'm thinking, did I try to make gray with the ultramarine blue paint and the pencil? No, I think I did get that out of the palette. And while I'm at it, I think I'm going to go ahead and get this little shadow in between. I like that being a little bit cooler, or a little bit less purple, I should say. It's okay to have shapes just kind of dissolve into the shadows sometimes. Your brain knows what's up. It knows that you know, that's a shadow, that's an orange, that's a plate. You don't need to spell everything out. Also get a little bit of shadow happening under this slice up here. Little sliver of highlight up there. I like that little sliver of light on the plate, which I totally lost on my oil painting, and that's why I wanted to keep it on this one. And we'll go over here because, you know what, this edge of the plate, I like how it disappears. However, I need to have that little shadow under the orange to give it a place. I'm going to take that original shadow color, just kind of go on the outside of the plate a little bit with that. It's coming along all right. I'm not too disappointed with the way this is going. I'll do a little bit of just a little slice under the knife there. You know, I've got to say, I can kind of just paint the essence of this without really looking at it because of doing the oil painting and having to look back at it so many times, that this I can kind of just paint what I feel a little bit more. Plus it's like speaking a language that you've spoken all your life. I've used watercolor all my life, so it's not as much of a stretch. I used watercolor much more than oils, so I don't have to think. I can feel more about what I want to happen in this painting. I'm liquefying the pencil that I put there. There's a mosquito in here. It's a very confused mosquito because we've actually had some warm days. So if you see that fly in front of this, it's perched on the camera right now. So if you see that fly in front of the scene, that's what that is. Oh, that's a dirty yellow. Clean my yellow a bit. All right. I think I'm going to switch over to a liner brush. Or, yeah, let's do a liner because I want some loopy loose strokes. And let's go with this rose color. Oh, that mosquito's trying to bite me now. All right, not cool, mosquito. And I'm going to I want to get some little, like the little juice packety, whoops. You know that texture of those little globules of, what do you call them? That's what I call them, globules of juice. And they kind of radiate like a sunshine from the center. This is such a pretty, vibrant, transparent color that it will let the other colors underneath show through and won't muddy them. I wonder, the first person to eat a grapefruit, they probably saw it like, oh, that's going to be so juicy and delicious, and then they probably tasted the bitter, and then they were like, oh. I bet they were surprised. Now, in this one, they've got this very interesting area where it was cut, and there was like, it was cut, and you see two different sections. You get this first section up here. Then you've got that little thin area of membrane, because it was cut through two slices. I typically don't cut my grapefruit, but I wanted to grab a photo of it to paint. I usually peel it like an orange, but it's prettier when you cut through it and you see all those little glistening slices. You see all those glistening little juice packets. This is making me happy. So maybe you don't paint this, so this might not inspire you. But maybe there's something that you think is a little silly, and you're like, well, if Lindsay can paint grapefruit, then I can paint whatever it is, you know? Give you some permission. You need permission to paint whatever you want to paint, because a little purple into this area up here. Because your artwork, you can paint whatever you want. You don't need to follow somebody else. If you don't want to follow that, you can, but you don't have to. All right, we're going to do the same thing with that nice juicy red color, and we're going to go from up here. I'm just, you know, seesawing back and forth here. Loopy, long loopy flicks. That's why I'm using a liner brush, because I know I'll get those kind of random flicks that I want. Okay, so you will also see little bits of staining on like the white of the fruit, which now doesn't look like too, you know, I was kind of like, oh shoot, I got so much, because I was rushing with the dog waiting on me. I was kind of bummed out because I'm like, oh, I don't have that nice white anymore, but that's all right. It doesn't really look that weird anymore because we've got all these other values around it that we've adjusted for. So you can kind of stipple in some of these kind of stainy colors. I don't know, there a couple of years ago I did pomegranates, a realistic pomegranate on my YouTube channel during a live stream. It was one of the longer ones, but you can kind of see that kind of staining of the pith of a fruit technique done there, but done in a realistic fashion. So if you want like, if you want a little bit more, if you want a realistic version of some juicy fruit, try that tutorial. That will probably give you a good idea of how to achieve those effects in watercolor, if you like. Okay, got some of that. I think that that line feels a little dark to me, but I don't know, I think it's probably alright. I'm going to take the silver, just, usually you don't want to use silver to draw things that are silver, but I just want to get these little, oh shoot, these little, I'm pressing too hard, these little rivets on the knife, and this little line in the center just masked out. That line would be the blade, obviously, going through the entire handle. I wonder what, because like this is a super color Caran d'Ache watercolor pencil. I bought a few open stock just to try out because if somebody asked me for a review. Yeah, I generally don't use metallics to render something that's metallic. I generally will just use the different values of a piece to do that. Boy, you know, it's pretty metallic if you use it pretty strongly. There's not even a highlight there, but I just was curious. I'm making my own rules. That looks alright. I'm just taking some of my handmade gray here. Filling in those rivets. I don't know if I like that, actually. Because it's not really in the picture. But I do want to add a gray stripe in there. Because I think that it's a nice contrast. You have something hard and man-made next to something loose and organic. I think that's kind of a nice feature to put in. Now I think I'm actually going to, I want to dry this, so I need a little more shadow there. Take this color, which is kind of just a dirty mix, and I'm going to add some of that beautiful red in there. And I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow in here, because I love shadows and highlights. And I'm stippling it because I want to get that citrusy skin texture, citrus peel. And we can do that over here as well. And we got a little bit of that happening over here. And it's a little bit darker under there too, but I gotta reload because this brush splits quite a bit. I don't know what happened to it. I think it might have been misused by somebody. Or I could have left it in the water for too long, because that's usually my misuse of brushes area of expertise. I leave it in the water too long, especially these plastic handled ones, because I don't have to worry about the paint splitting. Alright, I'm going to dry this, and then we're going to throw some highlights on and see if it needs anything else. Something I thought that might be kind of nice is to actually take a peach color pencil and go over this little membrane area, because I just think that would be just about the right color for that. Because white would just be too bold, and then I was thinking there's a few little areas that could use that. Where you've got, you know, those little bits of skin kind of coming up. I might do some more colored pencil in there, we'll see. All right, I've just got a regular old gel pen. This one is Art and Fly. That's what I have up at my desk right now. I generally go for the Uniball Signo gel pen. I find it puts down a thicker line, which I personally like. I just recently tried the Jelly Roll white gel pens, and I had a few different colors. I have I'm not colors, well, I do have a few different colors. I like their colored gel pens for just like writing, but I found their white one's always a little bit on the weak side, but I saw this multi-pack in the craft store, and I had a coupon, and, you know, I decided I'd give it a try. And they're all right. I still think the skinny ones just are, I don't know what you really use them for. You have to go so slow in order to get them to write that I don't know that I would really use them for anything. They seem to be too wimpy on a painting. I don't even know if this is really going to make any impact because I think I left enough white, honestly. But just do those little sparkles pretty well. I've been painting a lot today. I'll probably look at this later and be like, whoa, what was I thinking? My eyes must have been tired. Might go in with a broader white pen and get that pith back in some areas. I might even go in with and this is something that I was doing a lot in some of my Inktober sketches, using a white pen, but then going in with like a paintbrush, a damp acrylic paintbrush, and just softening things, spraying it out so I get kind of like a translucent color, because just it on its own was kind of bold. And I've got a couple colors here. I've got this kind of off-white and a white. These are the Arctics paint pens. And they were pretty good. Sometimes they drag a bit on watercolor paper, but this one is a hot press paper, so I think it's going to be fine. Oh, I kind of like that actually, because I just kind of went into some of the pencil area and it just kind of spread in there and mixed, and that was kind of cool looking. So I'm using this off-white color for the pith, because I think white's too bright just on its own everywhere, so I'm just going to kind of go in. Oh, I love that little swoop of where you can kind of see a little membrane in there. My pith got a little too skinny on this. It always seems like the fruit tastes better when you get a thick skin on it, it seems like. Because I had a couple of grapefruits out of this batch, and the one that had the tough, thin skin was not as tasty as this one here that had the thick skin. I kind of wonder if they mix batches or if they're all from the same farms. Oh, this one's got some interesting bit of membrane that comes out into the fruit itself. It's fun to use the pens because it's like sketching with, you know, markers. It's like kind of like being a kid again. When I need a break from my, you know, fussy watercolor painting, I can do that. Now, I'm looking at the cast reflected highlight on the bottom of that orange. I don't think I can do it with this because the color's too warm. I think I can add a little bit of that with that peach. I'm liking that. This will also be a good highlight on this knife, plastic area anyway. I've been taking these, I took this in the avocado reference photo for my avocado oil painting, if you saw that on my Instagram, on my coffee table in the sun, in like the morning sun. I get such a really nice look that time of day, so I've been trying to cut up fruit or cut up whatever I need to cut up for the day at that point. and get a photo. Even if I don't end up using it, at least I have it as an option, and it just gets me in the habit of looking at things as potential art. You know what? I'm gonna grab a little brush right now so that I can soften. Oh, let me check that. Oh, good, I am recording. I was like, wouldn't that be funny if I've just been talking to myself for the past 6 minutes? Oh, I mean, I have been talking to myself for the last 6 minutes, but you guys have been there with me in spirit anyway. Lindsay has finally cracked. I tried to, some random information. I tried to, I have a habit of procrastinating, just like, a lot of people do. And so when the kids went back to school in September, I tried to break myself of this procrastination habit, which, I think identifying that you have a problem is the first step. And, I keep catching myself procrastinating. It's like, oh, crap, I'm procrastinating. Well, try again tomorrow, or, try again right now. I'd catch myself just kind of like, ooh, what's on Pinterest, or ooh, what's on Instagram, and I would just be, procrastinating, or I need to do something but decide that I need to clean the refrigerator right now instead of whatever it is that I really ought to be doing, which is that's usually what I do for procrastination. I'll do something and I'll be like, oh no, this is important. I need to declutter my closet right now. And that's not really, I mean, yeah, it's good to do, but it's not what needs to be done at the moment. That's not the most important thing I could be doing at the moment. So I've tried to identify, so for September I did really good at identifying when I was procrastinating, but not so great at getting myself out of those habits. And then last month for Inktober, I really had to cut out a lot of my procrastination habits because I couldn't keep up my procrastination schedule with with actually getting all the drawings done that I need to get done. And so this month for November, doing my oil painting, self-imposed oil painting challenge, I have been, I think, doing quite a bit better with the no procrastination. But I do find that, like today, with like my husband was out at another job that he does, and I was home with the dog, and I had this list of things I want to do, and I thought I kept it pretty reasonable for knowing that I'd be at home alone with the dog. And sometimes you get yourself stressed out because you're trying to procrastinate, and you don't allow yourself any downtime, and then if things do not go completely to schedule, then you're completely derailed because you've counted on being able to be super motivated, super productive, that's the word, super productive. And then if you're not, it's kind of like, it's like, oh, I wish I could have all that time back when I procrastinated. I could have, I could use that time now. Let's see, that's a little bright. What's going on up here? Let's see what's going on. This section right here seems to have some line that's going out too far. I think it's just undissolved pencil. Cast reflections are kind of tricky. Getting that shape right. Sometimes you have to kind of, I can't turn my paper because I got my palette sitting on the top of that pad. There was a lot of times I was working on the oil version of this and I was like, oh, I wish I didn't do that. It's like, whoops, that was a mistake. And then there were times where I was like, oh, I like that. That looks really good. It's like, whoops, I should have left it alone. Alright, let's see. Since I did determine that I have used this color in this painting already, I like having a dog. I remember when my kids were babies, you'd get this like you get pregnancy brain, and then you'd get like new mother brain, and like you just couldn't remember anything. You're so tired. I think that's probably the excuse then. I don't really have the excuse now, but kind of the same thing. It's like I don't remember if I used that color or not. I just wanted some, like, I don't know, I just want some more color in the rind. Contrast is important. You gotta put contrast in sometimes to break pieces apart. Kind of want some pink in the rind as well. This really pretty color here. I like this little filbert brush. It's a Princeton Lauren number 4 filbert. Came in a Smart Art box. I get some pretty interesting brushes in that. I have so many brushes that I usually don't go shopping for brushes. So it's kind of fun in the Smart Art box because I'll get a brush that I'm not familiar with because I can't justify going out and buying more brushes because I have so many. Oh, what if I put a little pink in this cast shadow? I don't really belong there, but I like it. Okay, gosh, I'm mumbling. I'm sorry. I hope you guys could hear me and didn't like turn your speaker. Probably turn your speakers way up, and then here I go. Wah! Can you hear me now? All right. I have no idea what anyone's going to think of this. That probably, yeah, I don't like that. I'll blot that away. I don't know what you guys are going to think of it, but this was kind of fun. I have to say, this was fun to paint. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you try it if it's your thing, if you like it. And if not, I hope it inspires you to paint something that you do like, because that's what it's all about, friends. Paint what you like. Have fun. Oh, you know what? I think that I'm going to put little highlights on these little rivets here. And get a little here and there on those edges, and I did a pretty good job keeping the white there, but I still feel like I need to define the little serrated edge a little bit. This was fun. It really was. I hope you give something a try that maybe is a little out of your comfort zone, or you don't think is a real subject to draw because it's too common. Because often those are the things that you really do enjoy because it's not precious. You know, that's the thing. What I liked about Inktober and what I like about doing my oil painting challenge is that I'm doing so many that I get another chance every day. Nothing has to feel precious, because if it doesn't turn out all right, well, I get another chance to do another one tomorrow, you know? And the more you paint, the more you increase your odds of creating something that you really like. All right, there you have it. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Until next time, happy crafting.